Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Bob Baffert, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
And we are back. This is Knockout Radio, coming to you live from Tournament Pizza. And Caleb, it took me a while to get here. I mean, I didn't get invited to the Valspar Golf Tournament yesterday with Media Day, but here I am in the King's Throne, taking it for a test drive.
How's it feel?
Feels good, man. I guess this is what the Pope feels like when he gets ready to take over, like, you know, for the other Pope. You know, I just need like a plexiglass, like, windshield. And, you know, protection from the people.
Yeah.
Because I'm a star, man.
Tomatoes at you?
Yeah, it can't be, that's common, you know, it can't be around common people. It's just not safe. You know, when you're a celebrity, you know this role. You know how it is. You can't do it out in public without protection.
Yeah, you got to have protect security, you know, bring it with you. You're a big man
deal.
now.
I mean, I switched the side of my microphone is now on the left side. I mean, I'm moving up.
Yes, sir.
So, but no, what do you want to talk about? You got any topics on the mind?
I love talking football. I love talking sports.
Because I have something for you. Okay, so I was in Vegas this week. I was leaving back from Albuquerque after the bare knuckle fights, and I stopped in Vegas, and my friend from a long time ago, actually the guy who introduced me to Randy Harris some 13 years ago, John XD, he owns OsteoStrong. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So OsteoStrong is a franchise, and they train bone density training. So they found that the angle of 120 degrees is when the bone is most susceptible to break. So if you fall wrong in an NFL game. So what they do is they start all the training at a 120-degree angle, and it's force-driven. So there's no moving workout, but it's a bench press, it's a leg press, it's a deadlift, it's a lat pull-down, and it's a computerized sensor, and you put all your force into over 30-second intervals, and you see a muscle failure on the computer. You see the dip when the muscle fatigues, and then you get that resurgence of another burst of power. Yeah. So you can track your progress. But the only way to grow bone is from compression, so time under pressure, and calcium, so through nutrition, and then through human growth hormone. So by training this way, you're actually stimulating bone density, like growing bone density, which makes you stronger. So for the combat sport world, do you feel like, would that be a cheating component? We talk about guys that take PEDs, they take enhancement drugs, but would training your bones to be stronger, to make an impactful punch more powerful, is that going to be something that the fighting community will endorse?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do. And I'm sure that people do some variant of that, maybe not to that level with the computers and things like that, but I feel like people train those stuff already. I know a lot of fighters do kicks, and they use like the sticks and hit their shins to make their shins stronger and to kill themselves there, so it doesn't hurt when they take kicks and when they can check kicks and stuff like that. So I think that as long as you're not taking human growth hormones, that's illegal, I think, in every sport, you know, every sport that you get paid, right?
Yeah.
Other than jiu-jitsu, grappling, I think they let him take it there. But yeah, I think guys would love to do that. I think anything, the thing about fitness and performance is that it's always evolving. There's always something new to learn.
For sure.
Like, you can never, there's never enough. People are always getting bigger, faster, stronger, like improving. And so I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool thing to check out.
So in conjunction with that, have you ever done any blood flow restriction training?
Yeah, I did a lot of blood flow restriction training. I have had 3 knee surgeries, probably going to have another one. But after you get hurt, when you're doing the rehab process, we use a lot of blood flow restriction for our leg days, because you want to still get that feeling of like you're lifting a bunch of heavy weight without lifting a bunch of heavy weight.
Sure.
And when you do the BFR, I don't know if you know this, but the way the system goes is it is 15, it's 30-30, 15-15, 15-15-15, and it's single leg. So you have kettlebells, and whether it's single leg squats, whether it's RDLs, it's 30 each leg, then it goes 15 5 times each leg, and you might not have that much weight on there. It might be 60 pounds, but you feel like you're squatting 600 pounds because it's exhausting, and it's great. And it's great for recovery too. You know, have it at a lower level, ride the bike. I did BFR bike after every game to help. As soon as we landed on the plane, I'll go into the training room. Trainers knew. I put the BFR on.
Now, did you, because the B3 bands are endorsed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
They obviously just won the Super Bowl. The Eagles were using the same technology where it's a band that goes around, and it has the coupling, and it has the nozzle on it where you hook up a pressure gauge.
Yes.
So it's an air chamber control, not a tourniquet style where it's just a strap that, because you can cause blood clots and actually die if you do it the wrong way.
So I've used the band. I like, there's a machine that they have now. It's like it's 2-headed, and it has like a little thing like in the hospital, and you pull it on, and it does it automatically for you.
Oh.
So it keeps the pressure the same. So because again, when you're squatting down and your muscles are flexed, it's a different pressure than when it's standing at rest, right? So the machine, what it does is it keeps it at that consist. You want 50%, 70% restriction, 80% restriction. It keeps it throughout the movement. So the machine is constantly changing based on where you are in your motion, whether you're resting, whether you're at the bottom of the lift, at the top of the lift. And so that's the one I prefer to use.
Wow. I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the evolution of this, because you're working out more efficiently. You're getting better with age. You're like creating new, red blood cells, and you're creating human growth hormone naturally. And so you're reversing the signs of aging. In fact, I've just did a side-by-side comparison of 52 days of taking liquid collagen.
I saw that on Instagram.
And if I didn't do it to my own self, I wouldn't have believed that it was true. I wouldn't have believed that this was possible. And so I think at this point in my career, at being 46 and being a professional bodybuilder, I spent so many decades of breaking my body down to rebuild it, to tear it down, to rebuild muscle tissue, to be a competitive athlete. But now I really want to age gracefully. I want to get better with age and reverse the hands of time, because we all know that Father Time is the only undefeated fighter of all time.
Unless you're LeBron James. But I think the funny thing is, like, as you get older, we have this tendency, when you're injured, when you're banged up or something hurts, the tendency is like, okay, I'm just going to go lay down and just not do anything. That's honestly the worst thing for you. The best thing to do when you're injured, when you're banged up, is to go do something to move it. The older you get, you still want to lift weights. Nobody's saying go put 500 pounds on your back. But hey, 225, 145, start somewhere, start small, get moving. You need to make your bones stronger, your tendons stronger, your muscles stronger, and that's going to prevent you from injury. It's going to heal you faster. I've had a lot of knee injuries, and so I'm in a constant stage of rehab. I do TKEs every day. I do bands every day, some kind of stretch, yoga once a week. I have to ride the bike and do certain things. I don't like to run as much anymore because wear and tear on the knees, right?
Compression.
So I'll do the bike. I'll do elliptical. Right. I'll do uphill on the treadmill to where it's a great workout. You get exhausted. You burn a lot of calories. Put the incline very, very high at like 3.5 on the speed, and you feel like you're hiking. And if you get exhausted really, really fast, and so there's so many things you can do if you have knee problems and elbow problems, to where you can still get great work in and feel good about yourself, but you're still getting better.
Now, going back to LeBron James, he just became the all-time leading scorer in the NBA history.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw his comment at the press conference was, the reason he was motivated and dressed for the occasion was because his sons were there, and he didn't want to have to pay for another hotel room if he had to delay it another day. So,
LeBron James can buy the hotel. He can buy the hotel if he wanted to.
But how do you rank it on the hierarchy of greatest of all time? Is he the GOAT? Is he surpassed Jordan in your eyes? Is he better than Kobe's impact to the game?
It's so hard to say. So I'll give a caveat. Kobe is my favorite athlete of all time. I love Kobe.
For mindset or
everything.
For achievement, for success?
I mean, again, success. He has 5 championships. He went to 7, won 5. He had a 3-peat, which LeBron has never done, right? He has all these records. I think his mindset, his imprint on the game. If you watch how many people, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, there's all these guys in the NBA who live by that Mamba mentality, who live by that, like, hey, we're going to emulate our game after Kobe and his mentality. So his reach is wide. LeBron James' reach goes more because he's such a unique athlete. It's hard to emulate him. He's 6'10", can pass the ball, can run fast. Like, it's hard to emulate his game. So his reach, I think, is more off the court. His reach is in the communities, and he's very politically outspoken. Michael Jordan, he was like the pioneer of like the new NBA, if you would say, right? Because before Michael, it was all about the big man. It was the Kareems, and it was the Wilts, and it was the big man game. And Michael was the first guy who was like 6'6", and who was like, oh, I can control the game as being a small guy, and I can be the most dominant player being a small guy. So I think they each had their eras where they dominated, and I want to appreciate them for what it is. Is LeBron James my GOAT? No, but if you say he is, I'm not really going to argue with you because he has a great case for it.
Sure. No, but do you think Jordan's style of play and his personality would be accepted in today's politically correct locker rooms? Because from what I heard,
I think
Jordan was a bully.
I think it would be accepted because one thing you got to understand about professional sports, so many things happen that you don't hear about. I think we had the Draymond Green and Jordan Poole punch that was like such a big deal. I can't tell you how many fights I've seen in the locker room. Hundreds of fights, whether it's small ones, whether it's punching in the face, on the field that fans and people never hear of. So I think Michael would have been fine. Michael had a great quote when they asked him, how come you don't speak on about political issues? He says, Republicans buy sneakers too. So I think he would have been great because his whole stance is, I'll keep my views to myself. I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go sell shoes. And guys are tough on guys, right? That's the way Kobe was hard on guys. Kobe fought guys at practice. Yeah. You talk to anybody, Kobe was a menace at practice to people, but that's how he leads. Sure. Right? And it worked. He got 5 rings. He brought the Lakers 5 championships.
Right? Does that matter? If you're a leader and you're a winner, is it acceptable the way you treat people if they know you come from greatness? Like, does it matter about your feelings? Does it matter about your lack of discipline or
I think what people look for is phoniness. So if you are a leader and you are not phony, you can be a nice leader. Jerry McCoy wasn't a yeller. He didn't curse. Right? He went out there and he worked his tail off and he performed at a high level whenever it was called upon him, and that's how he led. Bill Belichick leads differently than Mike McCarthy leads, right? LeBron leads differently than Kobe and Jordan. So I don't think it matters how you lead. I think people want to see if you're genuine. If you're going to be hard on me and you're going to nudge me and you're going to push me hard, you better walk in. I better walk in here and see you here at 4 a.m, right? Oh. And that's what Kobe did. That's what Jordan did. I worked after games. I'm lifting weights. I'm going to run before practice, after practice. When they see those things, they can't deny it.
Well, I vow to be a different leader than Randy Harris when I inherit the Knockout Radio brand. At 3:15, we usually go out to Dave Feldman, so let's hit a break now. When we come back out of the break, we'll talk about Knucklemania 3, Albuquerque, and how it changed combat sports forever.
Yes, sir.